All right, now it's time to rinse and wash the car. Now, of course, we've got our wash bucket set up here. We've got our 2 buckets. We've got soap, a wash mitt that's nicely sudsy. We got our grit guard set up. That's our rim bucket over there. Separate bucket. Now, when it comes to washing the car, right now we have some nice shade coverage here, which is ideal. If you're unable to wash the car in shade, then the early morning or late afternoon is going to be best. Now, we really want the paint to be cool to the touch also when we start washing. And overall, just when it comes to sun, heat, exposure, it comes down to product on the car and water on the car. When the car is too hot or when we're washing in the sun, it tends to dry too fast, and that starts to cause issues for us because we don't want product drying on the car. We don't want the soap to dry on the car before we get a chance to rinse it off and properly dry the car. Similar with the water. We don't want the water to dry up too quick before we get a chance to wash it off. So that's how it comes to sun. Again, do the best you can if you don't have shade, early or late. Now, when we're washing the car itself, we're going to approach it in sections. Base way, we're going top to bottom. I start on one side, then I hit the other side, come to the front of the car, and end up on the back of the car. Now, the last thing to note is the lower rockers. Now, this is a sports car, right? It's a pretty nice car. If I had the 4Runner that I was using earlier and I was off-roading and I had super caked up mud on these lower rockers, I would approach that later in the wash. I might go side, top, back, and then come back to the lower rockers and do them later in the wash. Because again, we want to wash the dirtiest part of the car later on, so we're not bringing that mud and introducing it all over the rest of the car. So with that being said, let's rinse the car and get to washing. So now we're gonna rinse down the car. So we're gonna go top to bottom. Again, here we have our standard nozzle on a hose. This is our rubber nozzle. And as you can see here, I can either spray in a fan or I can go deeper. And that just gives me more control over the car. Let's start washing the car. Now again, this is using a more basic setup. So using just a wash mitt with a bucket. So we didn't foam gun the car, we didn't foam can the car, which is of course a way to get soap spread out on the car. So with that, I'm gonna be a little bit more intentional and make sure I get this wash mitt really sudsy. And I'm just gonna drag it along here, along the top of the car and really try to get those suds down. Now this car does have a little bit of a unique body shape in the sense that the back really goes into the sides. We have a smaller front here. So whatever car you're doing, just find your way to break it up into sections and know your sections. So here, I'm gonna kind of cut that off, consider the front. The back, I'm gonna kind of just take it to this line here, cut it off to the back. Almost tripped over my wash mitt there, but we're good. So first, again, running this along, letting the water and the soap do its work. Just kind of get it nice and sudsy. So now that's gonna start dripping down for me. I'm gonna come back to my wash mitt and do a quick dunk to rinse, but I really didn't pick up that much dirt right there. That wasn't the intention. You will notice that I'm wearing gloves here. With these wash mitts, you don't have to wear gloves. I do find for myself that I just like the process a little bit more. So now here we're doing some nice washing, right? Hitting all these different points and going in nice straight lines. And a big thing that I really want to make a note of, and this is again, something I kind of notice when I'm washing with the gloves, right? It just puts me in a different mindset. And what that is gentle, touch, slow. I'm not coming in circles. I'm not scrubbing this thing, right? I'm really kind of just coming in nice straight lines, keeping it gentle, going with the body curves, hitting all the different points, and cleaning the car. Again, these lower rockers, not too dirty, and that's why I'm okay washing them now at this point in the process. So we see a little bit of stuff right there. That's something I'm gonna come back in on later. That's something I might come back in with my clay scrubber to really touch up and hit a little bit harder to get off. Now, a piece of the process, of course, is dunking into your rinse, coming back into your soap. This wasn't a very dirty car. It had some dust on it, but nothing super caked up. So I was pretty comfortable washing most of that, flipping it throughout the process, and I didn't feel like I had to come back and dunk. If your wash mitt's getting more dirty, you do want to dunk it off. And we will show you also how to clean it on the grit guard. And now to show you the process as you're washing, let's say you get something like sticks caught up in it. And I'll be honest, I grabbed these from the ground. These weren't just sitting on the car, these big old sticks, but that will happen, right? That is something that can happen and end up in your wash mitt. As if these are very embedded, you want to catch that, because if I come back with this, right? I touch this to this, I'm now scraping this along the car paint, which is exactly what we don't want to do. So that's where the grit guard comes in handy here. I'm just going to pop it out of my bucket real quick, if it lets me. And we're going to use that like a little wash pad for it. And we're just going to rub that along the surface here. Now the irony here is that actually is a little bit harder to get these sticks out than I expected. So we'll just kind of keep coming here. And then see, that's caught in there. We're gonna put this back down here. But that's how, coming back to this real quick just to show you, that's how you wanna clean your wash mitt during the process. So maybe it's a bunch of bird poop, or it gets really gunky with dirt or mud and you just start seeing it embedded. And sure, you're dunking, you're coming back to your other bucket, but it's more dirty than you'd like. This is where you're gonna get out those bigger pieces that come on your wash mitt. All right, time to do the hood. Little rinse dunk here. Our little sticks are floating around from earlier, so we're just gonna take those out, throw them out. Get it nice and sudsy. Again, part of why I like wearing the gloves, you're just really dunking the thing. If you're moving quick, you don't have to, but it just puts me in the right mindset. So once again, we're gonna kind of get this soap all over here. Really sudsy. We want the soap to do the work, right? We don't want to have to touch the car so much. The more that we can let the soap just trickle down and get the car naturally sudsy and just start to clean with the power of water and soap, the better. The less touching we're doing, the better we're cleaning the car. All right, now we got, just gonna take a little bit more there. Gorgeous car though. All right, now we're coming up here, we're coming back. Just taking it down. Just kind of come up here. Now I'll come back usually and wipe these wiper blades directly, but I like to at least just get under there where I got the wash mitt going with the soap. Now we're gonna flip onto the other side. And then again, remembering where we started, I kind of cut it off right here at this lower side panel. So I wanna make sure that I hit that. Typically too, I'm kind of working in sections here. So glass first, come back to the hood, and then I'll do this lower portion and come all the way around. Also, as a general note on your wash mitt or wash pad, one of the things you'll notice with towels, light colored towels get dirty. Now, that can be really frustrating if you're cleaning a dirty section. If you're using yellow towels on your rims, they're gonna get super dirty. And even when you clean them later, they might be dirtier than you like. The good thing about that, let's say you're using yellow towels in your interior, you can be more mindful of how dirty your wash mitt or towel is. So coming back to this wash mitt, this is a nice light blue. Some of the darker colors, the deeper colors, or even using the sponges as an example, you can't really see the dirt on it. You can't see how dirty it is. And that's where you can also get into trouble, because maybe your wash mitt's dirtier than you realize, but you're just not seeing it. All right, now we're gonna come back for one more dunk, one more rinse, and now we're coming on the lower rockers. Again, another reason why I like using the gloves, when you're just really getting in there, I think it just kind of helps. Like all the crevasses and whatnot. So, all right, so this is a really good moment if you can bring this in tight here. So we were talking about the sticks, right? And I openly told you I picked up some sticks off the ground just to embed in this. Right here, all right, I don't know, can you see that? You've got sticks there. There's a ton of just sticks in the grill of this. So if I were to wash all this, not pay attention, I'd have sticks all over this thing. And then if I'm not going back to my grit guard or cleaning it out, swapping on another wash mitt, that's gonna be really troublesome as I go and proceed to go on to the rest of the car. Also, that's why we do the dirty parts later in the wash, right? Start with the most clean, work our way to the dirtiest. So if I did get these sticks into this, hey, at least I'm going on the back of the car. I'm not starting here and then spreading that over the entire car. So we're just gonna knock these sticks off. Now, of course, we're filming this, so I'm not rushing through this wash. It takes some time. And you can start to see here, right? So show right here, some of the water and soap drying, and that's what we don't want to happen. That's what we want to prevent. So while I'm about to hit the back here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna re-wet this side, I'm gonna re-wet the other side, because I'd rather keep water on it, I'd rather keep it wet. We don't want it to dry. So we're just gonna re-wet this side real quick and then come back to the back to wash. And right now we're using our Velux wash on the paint. So that's our ceramic car wash that features our proprietary XiO2 formula. So that's gonna work really well with the rest of our coating. So whether you've got a Nitro V7 spray on this car, a Nitro 8 coat, or a Nitro Glow wax, or other coatings out there in the market, this is gonna clean really well. And what it's also gonna do, it's gonna add additional ceramic protection. So every time you're washing the car, you're enhancing what's already there. You're adding additional and you're enhancing. Also, it's gonna provide shine. So what you'll see with this is, even if you just wash it with this shampoo, if you properly dry the car, you're gonna have a lot of shine on it. Also, of course, it's very gentle and safe. So harsh on contaminants, soft on the paint. Now you'll see this back of the car is noticeably dirtier. The back of the car gets a lot of exhaust, right? You got the exhaust, you've got soot, other things that are kicking up. And it hasn't really shown on my wash mitt much yet. I don't know how tight you can get on that. So that's a little bit of dirt, right? That's a little bit more on the dirt side. And that's the kind of thing that you would see, especially on a much more dirty car. Obviously, that's a very minimal amount. But just starts to show you how you can see on your wash mitt, hey, how dirty is it getting? When do I need to dunk it to rinse? When do I need to potentially swap it out even? All right, now that we've washed the car, before we go into drying the car, right, and our final rinse, we also want to just give the car a walk. So coming over here, there's some typical problem areas. Honestly, just looking back at it, I don't remember washing these, right? So that's an area I did not hit. Now coming over here too, this is a pretty deep indented curve. So this is another area that I'm gonna kind of come back and just do a little touch up on. But for your average car, somewhere like the rockers is a spot, the front, the back, you just want to double check that, make sure that you got all the spots and everything's properly washed and you didn't miss any areas. Now when it comes back around for a rewash, you can spray that little area with water and then make sure you get it sudsy. You don't necessarily have to rinse the whole car, but we want to make sure that we get lubrication. We want to make sure that it is wet.